Good morning, everybody. So I'm Oscar Romero, the Vice Dean of Postgraduate Studies at the Faculty of Informatics. So welcome everybody to this information session about the Master in Innovation and Research in Informatics. So first of all, I must say that this session is going to be recorded because we will publish later in the web. So just be aware that if you talk or make any question during the session, your voice might be recorded, okay? So the plan for today is this. I will just explain a bit about the faculty for those of you who are not familiar with, and then the MIRI, that basically it's a master with 4 specializations that you need to choose beforehand. So when you apply to the master, so I will go in depth through the 4th of them. And then I will just go through the enrollment procedure, how does it work, grants, and frequently asked questions. So the Faculty of Informatics belongs to the Universitat Politècnica Catalunya. This is a public institution. It's one of the biggest in Southern Europe. It's a public institution. I will not go more in details, where the main studies in computer science fall into the Faculty of Informatics. This is a relatively young faculty. It's only 40 years old, but during this time, the faculty has been a big impact. All over Europe, it's considered a reference institution in computer science. The faculty sits in one of the ends of Barcelona. It's inside the city, but Barcelona is pretty affordable in the sense that you can move to the city center from here by metro in 20 minutes, so it's not far away from the main attractions in the city. And here we also include the address, information about our main website, and how to contact us if you have any question, as well as the social networking. So in this presentation, I will focus on MIRI, but just to let you know, if you are interested in knowing more about the faculty, if you are not aware of it, and why it's one of the top 10 computer science faculties in Europe, we have more information in our presentation that we did. It's a general overview presentation that we did a few weeks ago. If you go to our master's website, and then you choose your preferred MIRI specialization, you will see that there is an option to click on the presentation video of 2024. This is a generic presentation where there is an overall presentation of the faculty and the university. In this presentation today, I will go straight to talk about the master, okay, that I guess is most of you are expecting. So let's go for the master. This master, as you can say in the name, has a very strong connotation towards innovation and research, okay? So it has 4 specializations. It means that you need to choose it beforehand, before starting the master. When you enroll, you need to choose the specialization you want to follow. And basically, we have devised 4 specializations that are open nowadays. The first one is in advanced computing, the second one in computer graphics and virtual reality, third one is computer networks and distributed systems, and finally, high-performance computing. I will explain it later, but the master has some common courses, and then depending on the specialization, you just go deep in that specialization, okay? This master has been accredited by external bodies, and basically this is something I would like to stress, because ICUEIN and ACU are external organizations, not part of the faculty or the UPC by any means, that they come at some point to evaluate our studies. It means that they come an independent set of people that interview our lecturers, they interview our students, they interview our service administration staff, and then they emit a report, okay? Both institutions gave us the maximum quality level, so the excellence in case of ACU, and this means that they have basically stressed 3 main things that our master provides. The first one, the quality of the lecturers, because most of them are doing research, so it means that you are having lecturers that are active in research. The second, the services, and the third one, the outcomes that the students got, because since our lecturers are researchers, the outcomes that you will get is cutting-edge technologies in each of these specializations. The master is fully taught in English, so you require a B2 to enter this master, and you need to accredit this level of proficiency. And this master is 2 years, 120 ECTS. It's divided in 4 main blocks, so 30 ECTS, barely meaning 1 semester, right, of common compulsory courses that regardless of the specialization you will take, it's common for all of you. And then 48 ECTS is in depth in one of the specializations you choose, okay? There are 12 more in electives. There are general electives. You can choose in these courses either other courses from the other specializations or even other courses from other masters in the faculty. And finally, a master thesis that is quite demanding because it's 30 CTS, and we are expecting you to reach a level of excellence here, okay? So to know it more about these masters, let me just take this one as an example. This is the advanced computing. You see at the website here, you have masters.upc.edu. Here, if you go there, you can choose the specializations and the other masters we offer. So once you click in one of them, in this case, advanced computing, this is the website that you will find. This is what I told you at the beginning, the session presentation and video of 2024, in case you are interested in knowing more things about FIP and UPC. This is a very comprehensive talk covering all aspects in the master level. And then basically here you have some information about the master, specific for the master, like admission, employment opportunities. Let me focus now in the curriculum. So in the curriculum here, you have two kinds of mandatory courses. You see this orangish color that you have here. AAM, CPDS, SMDE, and MIRI, you know, these four here, plus the seminar activities that is parallel to all seminars, to all semesters, sorry. These are the mandatory common courses. These courses meant to be the baseline that you need to have to go for an innovation and research master. So as you can see, have mathematical methods, okay, just to go deeper into experimentations or research aspects. You have also another one, how to develop experiments, again, with the side of a master in innovation and research. There is another one, how to know or how to make a state-of-the-art, how to know what is done in a specific field, how to read papers. This is MIRI, right? And finally, there is one, because in our specializations in general, nowadays, concurrency, parallelism, distributed systems are everywhere, so there is a mandatory course also for you, because regardless of the specialization, you need to have the basis, no, on distributed systems. The seminar activities is a course that you need to follow at your own pace during the whole master. There is a website where we publish seminars, and these seminars are advanced topics, typically on research or on innovation aspects that you can enroll. So my advice is that you start from the very first semester to start doing seminars, okay? Some students leave it for the very last minute, and then always is problematic because you will not find the seminars that you like, etc., etc. So from the very first day, start planning ahead to take your seminars. And this is just in the seminar, what we accommodate there is those kind of hot topics that appear that we cannot accommodate in the lectures. Is something more dynamic, so we offer them as seminars, okay? Then you see that there are other mandatory courses. These depend on the specialization you took. For example, here there are 4 mandatory courses that depend on this specialization. These randomized algorithms, that is in the first semester, advanced data structures, computational complexity, combinatorial problem solving. This is specific of the advanced computing specialization, but they are mandatory, okay? You need to take them. Then you need to take also complementary courses of specialization in this specialization of MIRI. That would be these 4 that you have here, okay, that you also need to take. And then you see that there are 12 ECTS that are elective. These 2 are general electives, so it can be courses from other specializations, courses from other masters, okay? Or even you can just work or do an internship and call the ECTS afterwards for a maximum of 12. So there are quite a lot of options for these electives, ECTS here. As you see, the 4th semester is devoted fully to the master thesis, which is important that you plan ahead, because it's typically a demanding thesis that takes a lot of time to go through, okay? Another important thing, well, you have other elective courses that you may take during your elective, general electives that are here at the bottom. But what I wanted to show you now is that if you are interested in knowing more about one course, for example, here, the seminars of innovation and research in informatics, the seminar activities, just clicking on the name of the course, you will go to the comprehensive guide of this course. So here you have the person in charge, the competences that you will develop, how it works, the teaching, the evaluation, etc. So just come here and check the courses just to know what you are going to learn in each of the courses. So from an academic point of view, our web is very comprehensive, it's very complete. Please take your time, just to know if this meets the expectations you have for this kind of master, okay? So, and you have the link here for all the other specializations where you can check what is your preferred option. Also, in this master, we accept that you can take industrial experience, and we acknowledge this experience in the forms of ECTS. You can do it in two ways, through internships, curricular internships. I will explain later how it works. This is a kind of an agreement through the university, through the faculty, with a company. Or you can have your own job with your own contract, and then all the work that you did before or during the master, if it's related to the master, of course, you can then claim ECTS from this as well. I will explain later how to do it. And last but not least, each specialization requires some background. So depending on the specialization you go and depending on your bachelor, it may happen that the selection committee decides that you need to take some complementary courses to just complement your background, okay? If you come from informatics, computer engineering, in general, you will not have problems, but sometimes there are other kind of bachelors that are pretty similar, but they lack some aspects of computer engineering, so it may happen that the specialization that you are choosing, they think that you need to take a course, I don't know, for example, in operating systems, if you go to complex networks or distributed systems or high-performance computing, okay? This, anyhow, you are told at the moment that you are informed if you are accepted or not in the master. At that moment, you are informed if you need to take complementary courses or not. And complementary courses go beyond the 120 of the master. It's mandatory to enroll them in the first semester, so you need to start with them. We allow you to take also ECTS from the other courses of the master, but you must start with the complements, of course, right? So this is a master in research and innovation, and that's something I wanted to stress here. This is one of the strengths of the faculty. Most of our lecturers, not to say all of them, are researchers, active researchers, and this can be shown in many KPIs or indicators that you can find in the web. But for example, our faculty is one of the main drivers that achieved that UPC is the top university obtaining H2020 projects. The Horizon Europe projects are those projects funded by European Union just to transmit knowledge from the universities to companies. These are very well funded, that there are millions of euros every year in this kind of calls, and this is an important way to measure research and innovation, how you are providing value to the companies. No? And UPC systematically is always the top university, and the Faculty of Informatics is one of the main faculties providing funds in this sense. And this is because in the end we have lecturers doing research. Okay? The research groups here are pretty strong in this sense. Also, UPC is leading in startups, spin-offs, innovation, and technology transfer. It means that what we teach can be applied. People see how to take value out of it. Okay? And another kind of different thing of research and innovation, but for me also important, is that we have the Center for Development and Cooperation. This is typically projects where you can participate and through this center just to help undeveloped countries or undeveloped communities, just to help with projects in their advancement. So this is more about social commitment, okay? But it's another kind of research and innovation. So especially if you are taking MIRI or you are thinking of taking MIRI, my advice is just consider doing research or innovation during your master. And how you can do this? Basically contacting a research group and basically start working with them. So basically you can start with a grant, or you can be a conveni de educación cooperativa, these internships that I told you before, that you can just sign with the research group and you can start working with them. Okay? So while you are studying, you can also in parallel get into innovation and research. I think this is something interesting, and I'm quite differential of our master, because as I will show later, all our specializations have research groups aligned with the interest of this specialization, so it will be easy for you to contact them. The last line is how to formalize your research experience, right? So either with grants or with these internship agreements that I will explain later. Okay, so let's go one by one in these specializations. So the advanced computing is a specialization where you would be interested in just going for complex problems that are in the boundaries on the computational complexity. Okay, so you know that there is a well-developed computational complexity, that problems that are NP are quite easy that appear in real life, right? So when you need to devise a solution for this kind of problems, you need to rely on other kind of approaches like heuristics or constraint programming, etc., right? So you need to develop another kind of expertise to tackle these kind of problems. Are they easy to appear? Yes. For example, the problem of just any company like DHL that every day need to leave the warehouse and just deliver I don't know how many parcels in a city, the order in which you do it is an optimization problem, right? Because it's hard, and typically you need to apply techniques, advanced techniques, in this case maybe based on the graph theory, right, to find which is the shortest path that you can do to deliver all your parcels and specifically on time, right? Another one would be just to decide the fixtures of a sport event like La Liga or the Basket Association or whatever, right? So all the combinations, in which order they need to play each other and so on and so forth, is also a problem that from the computational point of view, it's hard to solve. So in general, this is you should consider this specialization if you would like to strengthen your algorithmics capabilities, okay, for problems that are in the boundaries of the computational complexity, and this can be applied to anything. No, I put here some applications, but basically in any day-by-day application you may find cases where you cannot just go with regular algorithms, you need to apply meta-heuristics or more advanced techniques, okay? Especially related with the graph theory, for example, that has a lot of applications, but their algorithms are quite expensive by nature. So I will follow this structure for the rest of specializations, but look, these are the research groups that we have in UPC that are aligned with this specialization, are people that also will be teachers while you are taking this specialization. I also put here what are the main topics. So the first one, for example, they have quite a strong background in computational biology, which is by definition a hard problem, no, from the algorithmic point of view, but also complexity, formal methods, and complex algorithms in general. The second one is the Center for Language and Speak Technologies. There is another one for logic and programming, and the last one is again for learning, complexity, and relational algorithms. This more in the learning side of algorithms. So where our alumni are nowadays, or where do they go? So some of them go to academy. It's easy to follow this kind of master with a PhD and then land in academy, or just to one of these big tech companies that they are doing cutting edge services that you need an advanced skills, but also in data science and similar stuff. I also included here 2 exemplary master theses. The first one is more about modeling business process management and how you can, from natural language descriptions, how to map it or match it into processes, right? So how to do this map in order to facilitate people communicating or devising business processes. Business processes, if you are not aware of them, are basically a set of constructs one after another that they need to be fulfilled in a certain order. No? So there are dependencies, and you need to do one task before the other, and you describe it typically as Petri nets or things like that. So the point is that you need to know how these technologies work. This master thesis, what they did is just to put a natural language layer in front of it so that you could express your requirements in natural language, and the process was created from it. Okay. This master thesis resulted in a patent and also in a spin-off that is still working in process talks. And also this person did a PhD that resulted in top publications in top conferences. Another one, if you want more theoretical, is this kind of algorithms that you want to enumerate the bit triangles in large bipartite networks. Why this is interesting? Because typically when you have data where you have 2 kinds of elements that somehow they partition very clearly, for example, users and item when you are buying something, finding this kind of triangles is interesting because you can see who is buying the same thing or what items are interesting for the same kind of people. So at the end, this is in the base of a recommender system, for example. Okay. Again, this resulted in a publication of this master thesis in a software that you can find in this GitHub. So let's move to the next specialization, is computer graphics and virtual reality, something completely different, right, according to the name, no? And basically here is the state of the art on computer graphics. So I guess that when I talked about this specialization, many people think immediately about video games, but there are life beyond video games in the computer graphics world. Basically nowadays, and especially after the pandemic, we have seen a surge, no, of cases where people are interested in applying graphics to day-by-day things. For example, the digital twins that are so popular nowadays. A digital twin can be that when you go to a retail shop, instead of just trying the clothes that you want to buy, you just go into a smart mirror, no? And the mirror will just put the clothes that you want on you without really dressing them, no? So this is done through graphics, for example. Another interesting branch is virtual reality, and here is models in 3D. This is very related with e-health, no? And as you can see some figures here, but can be related to many others. The opportunities are massive. For example, one thing that is quite popular nowadays is these virtual tours that now, especially also after the pandemic, any museum, any gallery art or whatever in the world, you can do a virtual tour, right, from home. This is done typically with these techniques, and the list of techniques is very large, from 3D graphics to geometry processing, virtual and augmented reality, and the application can be, as you can imagine, many. No? This is a very applied kind of specialization, and you can see many of the companies or universities where our alumni ended up. So either they go to industry or also to follow with a PhD. So both lines are open in this case. And here you have two theses, no? The first one is what I told you. What is now very popular is the cultural heritage simulation. Is where you just are opening the opportunity, someone from home, to visit a museum. No? It would be the one on the left that also ended up in a publication. And the one on the right, another hot topic, is e-health, no? And simulation from 3D simulations, in this case of molecular simulation trajectories, also in a very good journal and also a publication. The next one is computer networks and distributed systems. This sits at the infrastructure level. Okay, this is infrastructure level. So it means that on the one hand, you will go and to computer networks. So and here you will be just dealing with 5G or 6G now, right? And all the advances on networks in general and how to deploy them at the infrastructure level. And then a natural consequence of having a network is to have a distributed system on top of it. The difference is that the computer networks is more the infrastructure part, the hardware, while the distributed system also has a piece of software on it and basically distributes a work that can be costly into all the nodes that are available to distribute computation, right? So what kind of distributed systems are there? Plenty, and they are everywhere. They are ubiquitous, no? So cloud computing, IoT systems, big data, P2P networks, plenty. Streaming would also go into this category, right? There are many examples of distributed systems nowadays that they need computer networks behind. So this is, I forgot to tell you that there is a research group also related to the specialization on graphics. It's one research group, but they are very strong and very aligned with the specialization. In this case, you have a few more, at least 4 of them. Okay, here they also have different objectives inside the layers of networks and distributed systems. For example, the first one more into IoT and wireless and so on, and they apply machine learning, deep learning to decide how to distribute these tasks. The second one is more on the cloud computing and decentralization systems, and also how to provide resources for this kind of systems. Virtualization, it would be the third one, and the last one is more related to the networks, the infrastructure, the hardware. Okay, so here more about optical networks, traffic monitoring, so on and so forth. There is an overlapping with high-performance computing, but you will see that in the next specialization is purely high-performance computing. So what kind of thesis you can get here? So for example, applying techniques like blockchain to secure a distributed set of clusters. So this is a promising way to promote privacy nowadays. So how to deal in distributed systems with blockchain, which naturally fits this kind of systems. So develop a kind of a solution for this kind of solutions. And the other one is just using machine learning techniques to calibrate, in this case, air pollutant sensors. This is IoT, no? You have a lot of sensors out there. They are just monitoring pollution, and then you use just, in this case, machine learning to do federated learning and try to optimize how these systems work. And the last one is purely high-performance computing. This is another kind of distribution. So the previous specialization is the kind of solution that you would do in-house in a company. When you have such a big problem that not even with networks and distributed systems you can solve it, you need the next step, which is high-performance computing. And this means a new set of hardware, the supercomputers, that work differently to the rest of systems. They are different to traditional networks of distributed systems. No? So high-performance computing is considered the cutting-edge way of doing brute force on computation, right? Because you have the amount of operations you can do per second is the highest you can get. So this is very much related with very hard topics, and here you have a few. For example, oil and gas, how to find where to drill the next time and so on. This is typically done with HPC behind. How to evolve the deep learning aspects of artificial intelligence and machine learning in distributed settings. This is not trivial at all, and this is something also that they are working on. Media and entertainment, research labs, financial services. I mean, high-performance computing has a lot of applications nowadays. So there are 4 groups here, especially the Barcelona Supercomputing Center is one of the main actors in this specialization. Many of the students that are in this specialization, they also are participating in the Barcelona Supercomputing Center in one way or another. Okay, and the opportunities are either you go into the sense of the hardware aspects of the supercomputing, so design of future processors, supercomputers, and so on and so forth, so the hardware layer, but also you need to build on top of since these processors and this hardware is specific, you need to build specific layers on top of that, no? So the platform layer, the application layers, everything is a bit different to the rest of systems. So you can also specialize in any of these abstraction layers on top of that, just to develop, for example, applications to use GPUs. I don't know, a cluster of GPUs, right? If you are interested in this specialization, something interesting and important, if you would consider mobility, it means doing 1 year of the master here and 1 year abroad, okay? Please take a look to this European master. It's called EU for HPC. This is a European initiative. This gets born around this big European project that resulted in the big new European supercomputer that will be hosted in Barcelona, right? Aside of this, there is another mandate from Europe, that is that we need to educate the new generation of HPC specialists, right? So this master gets born from this. This is a master jointly taught by a group of universities in Europe that they are just providing or providing the next generation of people in HPC. So UPC participates in this initiative. So if you consider doing MIRI HPC, please follow this link and apply to this master if you would like to do it in a dual mode. I will explain later what is a dual mode, okay? But basically means that you do 1 year here, 1 year abroad, and at the end you get 2 titles, 2 master titles, MIRI here and the master title of the university where you moved. So it's a good opportunity, okay? The assumption is you need to move 1 year to the other university, okay? So you need to do mobility. So thesis in this sense. So here it's more about either the analysis and optimization of debugging in this new kind of architectures that are called post-silicon. So the new kind of families of processor. Maybe you have heard of this RISC-V, and now there is a lot of research purely in this new generation of processors that On top of that, Europe is trying to push just to create the processors here in Europe, so we don't depend on Asia especially to manufacture them and provide them. And the other one is hardware-software co-design for low-cost AI processing in space processors. This is now a hot topic nowadays as well. These deep learning techniques based on transformers are very expensive from the computation point of view when training. So how can we leverage in HPC to accelerate the training of these kind of systems? So these are the 4 specializations, and then later I will open the floor for questions if you have any on this side. Let me tell you about a couple of things that I've been mentioning during the presentation that you might be interested in. First, how to do internships, and the other thing will be mobility, okay? So let's start with internships. We have a very comprehensive website about internships in our website. You have the link here, and here you have the information for companies, students, and regulations. The regulations are pretty simple. So if you do an internship through the faculty, there are 2 main things you need to be aware of. You need to be paid, and you need to be paid at least 11 euro per hour, okay? And this is set in our regulations. This is not something that we negotiate. Companies know this. We sign tons of agreements with companies, and they know this. And the good quality of our students make them not to question this, okay? So they will for sure pay it. And the second thing is that the company, you and us, need to sign an education agreement. It means, what are you going to do there? And this is written beforehand, and it's signed by the 3 sides, okay? So it's a way to protect you, that when you go there, you are not ending up to doing photocopies or whatever, right? So you are doing something that is related with the master. Of course, you can go to a company and just sign a job contract. That's perfectly fine. But if you want to do part-time and be safe, guaranteed by the faculty, this is a very good option, because you just get paid, you have a planning and education training, and in the end, you have the faculty behind you, no? Which is always coming. How do they work? You need to find a company to sign this, and then, as I said, here there is all the information for companies and the documentation that they need to deliver. And basically, the other thing that is important for you is that you can do at most 900 hours per year of internships. It's not that you can sign full-time contracts, it's part-time, okay? So 900 is the maximum. But then for the master thesis, you can do the master thesis as part of one of these internships. You can add 450 also for the master thesis, no? For a total of 1,300. So then, if you do an internship, you can call for ECTS afterwards. So you can call minimum 6, maximum 12. So it means if you did the amount of hours to call 5 ECTS, you cannot call any. The minimum is 6. And the maximum is 12. You cannot go above this number either, okay? The master thesis aside. Okay, the master thesis is aside. So the rule for this, to know if how many hours I need to do to get 6, is this. 30 hours working at a company is 1 ECTS, okay? Also, finally, the master thesis, we have our own jargon about the ways you can do the master thesis. There is modality A, when you do it with a professor in the faculty, but then modality B and D means B at a company, so then typically through an internship, or D, that is the same, but in a company abroad, so not in Spain, okay? As I said, you can have your own job contract, and you can call ECTS from this job contract as well. So the rule is a bit different. So then you need to provide evidences that you were working before and during the master. And then the rule is this: 1,600 hours equivalent to 6 ECTS. Again, minimum 6 ECTS. You cannot do less. So if you have 1,500, you cannot claim a single ECTS, okay? It's either 6 or none. It's the minimum. And then if you have more than this, proportional up to 12 again. Okay, 12 ECTS. This is a very usual way that our students do the 12 general elective ECTS that I told you at the beginning. So because just with an internship or just working, you can claim these 12 ECTS, okay? Mobility. This is a very interesting aspect, and in your case, if you are interested in the high-performance computing, this is very interesting with the EU for HPC master that I told you before, that it's a very good setting. Personally, as a Vice Dean, I always encourage you to consider mobility. Some of our students are from abroad and they consider the mobility to come to Barcelona to study. Fair enough. But if you are a local student, just consider mobility. This is an experience for your life that brings a lot of value, not only from the professional aspect, also personally. And I think it's something to consider to do in life. We have plenty of options. This is one of our strengths in this faculty. We have signed a lot of agreements with 205 universities in 42 countries. This is the result of two things, right? Barcelona is appealing, and the second thing is that our faculty is considered to be a good faculty. So in the case of MIRI, you can study the whole second year abroad. So, and this means doing 30 ECTS of courses and the master thesis, or you can decide to go only for 30 ECTS. That's fine as well. So you can do just the courses or just the master thesis. This is fine as well. There are plenty of mobility programs you can apply. For example, the first one, CERN, are summer internships that you go to CERN and apply only during summer. But the others is to do the exchange and go there for, typically it depends on the framework who is funding it, no? Because they come with some grants, most of them. So the famous and popular Erasmus Plus, but we have others with Latin America, States, Canada, Japan, China, etc. Also in MIRI, you have the option to take 2 double degrees, which is interesting. Double degrees would be, you can do it either with the option that I told you, the EU for HPC, and in this master, you get a double degree because you do 1 year here and 1 year abroad and you get 2 titles. And this is the difference with a regular mobility. When you do a regular mobility, you go 1 semester or 2 abroad, you come back, you bring your transcript, we recognize this transcript, but you still get only MIRI. A double degree is a mobility that you do 1 year abroad, typically is 1 year, and then you get 2 titles. So consider it, it's pretty interesting, okay? Ending up with 2 master degree. So for the double degrees you have EU for HPC. I will not repeat it, it's there. You have the link in the slides that we will make it available and you can check it. I will now discuss here the 2 double degrees that you can do on top of them. There are 2 others. Okay. Other things that you can do on mobility and you are not aware of many times. You can do internships abroad. You can just go to work on a company. You can just go to work on a lab, in a research lab abroad. That's perfectly fine. And there are a lot of frameworks to allow this. Or you can just go for very short stays, like summer schools, summer code camps, whatever. Okay, these kind of things that are duly informed in our website, and I would encourage you to have a look always to take the most of it, no? Because typically when you do a master, don't take it like just doing some courses and that's it. You should enrich your experience with something else. Either participate in a research group, either go for mobility, do an internship, try to do something extra. Later when you finish, your CV will be much better. And people, either you go to academia or to a company, they will appreciate you did something more than just studying courses. Okay? And mobility is a very popular option for us. For the 24-25 edition, we had more than 200 requests from our students for mobility. So it means that it's working well. Students come back very satisfied, and it's an enriching life experience. So about the double degrees, you have 2. First with the Politecnico di Torino. For doing this, you need to spend the first year here doing MIRI. And then you move to Politos or Politecnico Torino to do the Laurea Magistrale in Ingegneria Informatica. You do a whole year there, 60 CTS. And then depending of your background, you get one or another set of courses. For example, if you are following HPC specialization in MIRI, you follow a set of courses there and you get a specialization called Embedded Systems. In their master, in MIRI you get HPC, okay? If you are not from HPC, you can still follow this. You will have a set of courses, but then you get the MIRI without a specialization. It means you lose your specialization when doing this mobility, but still you get the MIRI certificate. And in Torino, you get the specialization in software, okay? If you follow this link, you will find all the details about it. So you have here, sorry, this English. You have here all the details, what courses you need to follow and how, and exactly what is the structure that you need to follow there. Okay, and with this, you get the two titles. I hope it's clear the difference between a regular mobility, that you just go abroad, spend 1 or 2 semesters, come back with your transcripts, and the faculty recognize them, with a double degree, that it's also mobility, but the difference is that it's a set mobility with a set of courses that end up with a second title. Okay, this is the difference. The second option is Georgia Tech. This is an agreement that we just finalized. Okay, this is 1 year in MIRI, in Barcelona, following MIRI. The second one is going to the Master of Science in Computer Science in Georgia Tech. The agreement that we have is spending the second year that you are there, 1 semester in Metz is where Georgia Tech Europe is, where they sit. And then the second semester is in Atlanta, so in the headquarters of Georgia Tech, okay? More information will come about this. You will not find yet a link in the website. It's because we just signed it, and this week people from Georgia Tech are visiting us just to close everything, so it's just very recent. But when you will take MIRI, this will be available as an option for double degree, okay? So again, like before, our website is very comprehensive. You have a link to mobility, and then you need to consider outgoing. You will find all the details, how it works, etc. Yet, there is the bad part of mobility is there is a bit of red tape to be done. Okay, so you need to apply, you need to be accepted by the other university. This is kind of a bureaucracy that you cannot escape from. So that's why, to inform properly about the mobility options, what is the bureaucracy of each of the options, we have 2 information sessions. These are from this year, but next year they will be roughly around the same dates. So around mid-November and mid-February, the biggest portion of people moving is in February, so the second one is probably the most interesting one. And then there is a procedure. You need to apply for certain mobility schemes that you would be interested in. Then there is an agreement with the other faculty, the other university where you are moving, if you are aligned with the background they are expecting. If everything goes okay, you are assigned the position and you do the mobility next year. But there is some bureaucracy. That's why you apply almost with 1 year before doing mobility. Okay, it takes a while. So if you are interested in doing mobility, keep an eye on this from the very first day you start the master. And we have an email address where you can contact us for any doubt about mobility. We have a very nice team of people working and doing an excellent job on this, opening a lot of options for you. Keep an eye on this. I think it can be very life-changing indeed. So if you are interested in following MIRI, let me just sketch the enrollment procedure. You need to follow 6 steps, and these are the same steps as any other master in UPC, okay? This is exactly the same enrollment procedure. So the first one is to register. You need to go to a link that I will explain you where to find it. You need to start entering your personal and academic details, and where you are done, you need to pay a tax so that your application is evaluated. This tax is €30, right? And then after finishing these 2 steps, your application reaches the selection committee. The selection committee will evaluate it and will decide if you are accepted or not, okay? If you are accepted, you will be communicated, congratulations, right? And then you need to accept it formally. To accept it, first you need to explicitly say you are taking the seat, okay? And the second thing is that to book it, you need to advance €300 of your enrollment. And I say advance because when you enroll, this amount will be deducted from your enrollment. It's just that you're advancing money to guarantee the seat. Why is that? Because many times in our masters we have waiting list. Not everybody who applies can get into the master, okay? So we have a ranking, and the first top K go into the master, right? So if people don't take these seats and they don't reserve, they book the position, we go to the next on the waiting list. Just it's a way to avoid wasting positions because someone is not reacting. Because typically when you need to pay beforehand €300, you really make a decision, right? If you are taking the master or not. That's the only reason. So for the enrollment, there are 3 periods. The enrollment is open from 26th to 26th of May, February to May. The first period ends up in 18th of April. So if you apply before the 18th of April means entering your personal data, your academic data, and also paying the tax, then you will get a notification about your admission by the end of the month. This is very convenient if you are already decided about the master. Apply, and if you are accepted, you can already start planning and you forget if you are accepted or not or whatever. Okay? Because otherwise the second period is still possible, but then you will have to wait till 26th of May and the answer will be on first, second week of June. Okay? Still doable, but specifically for those of you that would need visa, it's very strongly advisable that you go for the first period. Okay? Then, if the seats available for the master that are 60 for all the specializations, okay, this is the number of seats available in MIRI. If they are not full after the 2 periods, we open a third one. This is not guaranteed. It depends if there are empty seats available for the master. And typically the deadline is at the end of June to answer at the beginning of July. Okay. Important thing about admissions. Please check in the admission criteria of the master, what is the commission going to evaluate? A few hints from my side. First, take your time to write an appealing motivation letter. A master is not a bachelor. It means that what we are expecting are motivated individuals. So at the end, you will be just studying with a set of people, and our interest is that there is a very nice and powerful group of people that enrich each other. So we are a public institution. We also like diversity. It means what you can provide to the group. Because if you have a set of homogeneous people, what you get at the end is a set of homogeneous people, right? So diversity is always good. We appreciate this. So take your time to say what are your interests, why you want to do this master, what kind of things you want to do in your life, how this master can impact this, and what other things beyond purely studying courses you would be engaged in. This is interesting. You need to build a professional CV for the future. And life is getting every time more and more competitive. So take your time. This master can give you very good opportunities for mobility, internships, and also participating in research groups. Do it. Take your time, and at the end, you will see that it will be an overall wrap-up experience. To start the pre-enrollment, you need to go to our website. Here you have the details, and here you have all the masters. Just take your favorite media specialization, and here at the end, you will see this button. Is where you start the first step that I told you for the application. This button will take you to the corporate UPC system where you will need to register, put your details, pay the taxes, and then is when this will arrive to the selection committee. Okay. So prices, it depends if you are European Union student or not. This is because the first ones are subsidized, right? So this money is covered partially by the government while the others are not. So this depends on the price of the master. Nevertheless, the prices for the next year will always be published in July. This is the government who sets them up, okay? So whenever they apply in July, UPC keeps them updated in this link, okay? You can just check it later to see how it worked for this year, but there is no expectations that they will modify the prices at all. We are expecting to be exactly the same for the next year, okay? So if you have doubts about any of the things that I explained now, you can always contact us. So the overall information email is fipinfomasters, and here you can write to us if you have administrative doubts. What kind of paper do I need to upload? Is this paper that I have enough or not? Is this field what? Okay, anything that is from the administrative procedure, please contact us in fipinfomasters. If you have academic questions, is this master allowing me to do this kind of job? Is this course exactly about this or that? Because you have doubt about academic issues, contact the academic responsible of the master, no? And here it depends on the specialization. So you have here the names and the emails. Please contact them directly. Josep Llosa is the coordinator of MIRI HPC and also the EU for HPC. So it's the same person. So if you have doubts about the European master that I told you, please contact him as well, okay? And also you have here other links just to move around. We have a very nice and comprehensive web. Just navigate it. You will find a lot of details because it's important that when you choose a master, you know what kind of master you are going to do, what kind of experience you can go through, right? And the last thing that I want to raise is that one of the good things that I told you about the reputation of our faculty is that many companies are offering grants specific for our students. Okay, these grants appear in July, typically after the enrollment. The enrollment this year is when you are accepted. The enrollment will be in July, and typically is when they appear here. This is a snapshot of what we offer this year. You have here companies that they want just to offer grants to students. Carefully check what the grant is offering. Some companies, if you get the grant, means that you need to go internship with them. Some companies don't. They just are covering your fees, and it's a way just to make some publicity about their company. So check the details, okay? It's important that you know what you are applying for again, okay? But in case that you are in a bit of financial stress, this can be an interesting option to follow the master. And finally, some questions that I get, and I would like to reinforce before I open the questions and you will pose your own, okay? The first one is, if you have not finished your bachelor yet, can I start my master's studies? Yes, okay? So the thing is, whenever you are accepted, there will be a moment that our secretariat will contact you and say, you need to bring all the documents, the final documents, before enrollment. And enrollment typically is in July. But if you cannot make it for July, there is an option to do it till October. The October is the hard deadline. But there is an exception. If you are a UPC student, there is a new regulation that allows you to start the master if you are missing the final degree bachelor thesis and 9 ECTS. If you miss this, so missing ECTS from the bachelor, as long as you enroll them, you can start the master anyway. But this is only for UPC students. If for whatever reason you are expecting to finish your bachelor beyond October, please send us an email to FIP Info Masters, explain what kind of bachelor you are taking, what are your expected dates, and we will inform you duly about your specific case if you can apply or not. Okay. Another question that I get is, if I don't have the documents to enroll in July when most of my peers will enroll and I enroll later, this goes against me somehow? Not really, because in the first semester you will take mandatory courses, and mandatory courses are always guaranteed that you can enroll them. It would be a problem for elective courses, right, but not for mandatory courses. So it's not a big issue. So, but what you need to guarantee is that your documents will be available and ready on time. Okay. Can I work and study at the same time? Again, big yes. All our masters can be taken part-time. It means that you take at most 18 ECTS per semester. Okay. A regular semester is 30. So if you go 18, it means that you will need more semesters to finish the master. You will not go for 2 years. You will go for 2.5 at least, okay? But this is an option if you are working or you plan to work, just to smooth the workload, to keep your part-time job or whatever. This is an option, okay? This is available for all our masters. How do I choose if I want to be part-time? The first time you enroll, you need to choose if you follow the master full-time or part-time. So it's in the first enrollment when you specify this, okay? And then if you specify part-time, you can only choose 3 courses up to 18 ECTS. You will not be able to enroll 24 or 30, okay? Another question that we get a lot, and in MIRI we have a lot of foreigner students. If you are a foreigner student, can you do mobility or internship? Of course. At the moment that you become a student of UPC, you are a 100% student at all effects. You can do absolutely exactly the same things as a local student. There is no difference what your nationality is. Okay, this is important to know. And finally, if I'm a student that comes from abroad and I will start the master in September, do I need to come in July to enroll? No, enrollment is online. It means that for enrollment, you will be given a day and a slot time from 9 to 10, for example. And then at that time, you need to just connect to a URL. So be sure that in your beach there is Wi-Fi, and then just choose the courses, pay the taxes, and you are done with enrollment. So it's purely online. What happens if you need to bring documents? Our secretariat will contact you and will tell, look, in September when you arrive, you need to bring this, and these documents that are missing. Okay, so they will let you know. They will be in contact with you just to let you know what are the documents you need to provide. And with this, I'm done. Let's open the chat now to questions online. Please write them in the chat. I will read the questions in the chat and I will do my best to answer them. And then let's start also with people who came face to face here. If you have questions, please raise your hand, and Monse will bring the mic to you so people at home can listen to you and your question.
Can you hear it or other?
Now, yes.
Yeah, for the EU Master for HPC, we would put in that application first, right?
No, you need to apply, that's a good question. So you need to apply MIRI independently, and you need to apply the EU Master again. So you need to do 2 applications in parallel.
At the same time?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so you need to apply to both places at the same time, yeah.
Thank you.
I forgot to say that, thank you. More questions here. That's because everything is so clear. We will just put these slides and the video in the MIRI website, in the masters.fib, so you can just check it up later, if there is any doubt. No questions? Let's go with the questions online then. Jose Pedro is asking, do I need an advisor to apply? In the application says tutor. I'm not sure what this means, but you don't need a tutor or whatever, or advisor to apply. Not sure, Jose, if you can provide maybe to our email, FIP Infomasters, a screenshot of what you mean, because we cannot make out exactly what you mean with this sentence. Then we have another question. Hi, sir, thank you for your helpful presentation. When applying, they ask if we intend to do PhD later. How this affect our application? No effect at all. This is purely just to have information about the intentions of our students. Don't worry that whatever you put there will not affect your application, to be positive or not. Okay. Jose Pedro, again, Jose Pedro. Besides the sponsorship from a company, are there any financial aid from non-European? So for non-European students, no. For European students, we have the national ministry grants for masters, but you need to be a national student to apply. So for non-Europeans, you should rely on our grants, specific grants. The next one, Evgeny is asking, is it possible to take this master with a non-technical background, for example, with bachelor in marketing? I'm afraid no. This is a very technical master. So you would need to have a strong computer science background or similar. So we can assign you to some complement courses, but you should have some basic background on computer science. Shuemin is asking, is a letter of recommendation necessary? No. We don't have a system for recommendations. It means that then you need to upload it with the rest of the documentation. So at the moment that the applicant is uploading the letter, the recommendation letter loses all value. Anyhow, if you have it or whatever, upload it, but we are not expecting recommendation letters from the applicants. Evgeny, if a person holds long-term residence permit in Spain, are you considered being EU student or a foreign student? I don't know. If you send us an email to FIP Infomasters, please, we will check it up and let you know. I'm not really sure, sorry. I don't know if Maribel or Yvette that are online and they are part of the Secretariat have an answer already to this question.
We have to see the permit.
The permit, okay.
Resident permit, yes, the card.
Okay, thank you, Maribel. So Evgeny, if you can send us an email with the card just to see it, we will let you know. Jose Pedro is saying, is a math degree a good background? Yes. I would say it depends on the specialization. You will need to do more complementary courses or less, but for example, for advanced computing, a math degree could be considered, provided that you had some basics in computer science that typically all the math degrees they have nowadays. Alfonso is asking, is it usually compatible to join a research group and being a full-time student? Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, typically when you are working in a research group, in a company or whatever, it's up to you to decide if you move part-time or you continue full-time. So continuing being full-time, it means that you will not have much social life during that period, right? But it's doable. There are students that they want to finish the master quick and they do it. In a research group, it's easier because typically you can negotiate with them when to do the hours and how to align very well what you are doing with the city seminars, for example, so you can take the credits afterwards, because the city, in the seminars course, you can claim ECTS for participating in a research group. So there are options, but in the end, it's up to you how stressed you would like to experience your work through the masters. Paul Roque is asking, is it necessary to have the B2 title if we ended the computer engineering degree at UPC? At FIP, I think it's mandatory to have it, no? I think.
Yeah.
Oh, Yvette is already answering this, Paul. So yeah. So no, it's not necessary if you come from the faculty. Okay, more questions? Yes, one in the room.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was reading the curriculum, and if I'm not wrong, the seminars are compulsory.
Yes, it's part of the common courses that are mandatory.
So I guess that they will feel like there are some, well, the seminars like give you ETSCs.
Yes, is this course here? This course here is the seminars in innovation and research. The thing is that this is a non-traditional course in the sense that you don't enroll in advance.
Okay.
You start doing seminars in parallel.
Yeah.
And then when you have enough seminars to claim the ECTS is then when you enroll it. You do it a posteriori, okay? But it's a mandatory course.
Okay. Okay.
And then if you go to the seminars, let me show you how it works. Then there is a website here where you can just find what are the seminars that are offered. No? So you have the graphics research system. There is the Aula Lliure, that is when master students teach to bachelor students. There is a competition in open hardware. And so some of them are from some specializations. Ethics, introduction to quantitative linguistics, so on and so forth. So if you click on this link, you will see already what is offered right now in this semester.
Oh, and the ECTS that they offer, I get like they fill up the elective ECTS from the master.
So the ECTS that you have here, you need to choose enough as to add up to 6. At the moment that you have 6, you just go to the secretariat and enroll the seminars course, and this account for the 6 ECTS of the seminar course. Yes.
Okay. Now, if you enroll to different seminars, you accumulate up to 6, or well, I don't know if anyone has done 12 in seminars.
The course is 6 ECTS, so you can do 6. You can do more seminars, but only 6 will be accounted for the course of seminars.
Okay, I understand. And that subject that you mentioned before, it's part of the seminars, or it's something like...
No, the course is an umbrella. So the course is really nothing. So you need to take you are not lecturing aside for the course.
Now I understand. It's like the subject that it will appear when you fill up for the seminars.
Exactly.
Now I understand. Okay.
So you have in our intranet, you will have a specific website where you will see all the seminars that you enrolled and those that you finished.
Okay.
At the moment that you have the 6 ECTS, you can contact the secretariat and this course is automatically fulfilled. So there are no lectures aside or whatever. It's just an aggregation of seminars.
Yeah, okay. And last question. I wonder where could I find more examples of master thesis and some work, open work if they are open, from the research groups that participate.
So if you go to our overall presentation, this is the overall presentation of masters. This is much longer and with much more detail than the one that I did today. Okay. There is one part here. Let me find it. That it's about research, and then there are a lot of links that I didn't include here. Where are they? Here. So this is the research slides, and here you have all the research groups that are in UPC, okay? So I mentioned some of them. So if you go to futur.upc.edu, you can find information about the groups, what they are researching, what they are doing. This is pretty comprehensive, Futur. This is where the researchers publish and the research groups publish all the tasks that they do in their day by day. Okay. So here you can have a clue of what the research group is doing. You can also find for specific people in that group and what they are doing. So the granularity is pretty fine. Okay. And you asked something else. And master thesis is in the library. All the master theses are open, available. So you can just, you go to our library, you know. Do you know our library?
I'm not from UPC.
So our library is called Gabriel Ferrate Library, right? So this is our library, and here you can just search for it. So let me put it in English for those that cannot read in Catalan. So here you can just find, or no, it's in UPC Commons. Sorry, not sorry here. It's UPC Commons. Yeah. It's here. Sorry. Thank you for the help. Here you can search everything that was published, so thesis, and you can filter by degree. And here you have all the degrees in UPC, right? So you only need to go to MIRI and the specialization you like, and you will find examples. Okay. So this is open. UPC Commons is open. It has everything there.
Okay, thank you.
More questions here in the room? No? So there is another one then online where we were talking how challenging is to get into the HPC program and how we can increase our chances in getting there besides a good motivation letter. So the HPC specialization is the one that has more demand right now. So, but I mean, I would always say the same. If you're interested in it, apply in the first term, you will have an answer right now. So, because it's 18th of April, I'm not sure what day is today. Sorry, it's 16. It's in 2 days. So, I mean, you don't need a lot to apply. So you need to put your information, personal data, academic data, and pay the taxes of €30, and then you are in the game. So I would suggest do it, and you will have an answer. Can I apply without the English test? Yes, and if you are accepted, you will be temporary, conditionally accepted. I think that our secretariat, what they expect from you is that you put there that you already booked a slot to do the exam, but you don't need to provide the certificate yet. So only that you have a slot to do the exam in 1 month, let's say. This is enough for now. And then if you are accepted, then they will ask you for the final certificate before the enrollment. Jose Pedro is asking, what are the typical background courses a math graduate has to take? So computer science courses. So it depends on the specialization. For example, if we stay in HPC, so you need to take a course on architecture, computer architecture, operating systems. This is far away from a math graduate. But if you go for something like the advanced computing, this is something closer. Or for example, the graphics one, the geometrical part, I think it will be well covered. Then they will ask you have some experience on programming and some basics on algorithms, right? So at least you need to have this kind of courses. It depends a lot on your bachelor, your courses that you took in your bachelor. I mean, depend on the specialization. If you come from math, I would say do not focus on CNDS or HPC. These two are far away from you. Okay. Any other question? Last minute question? No? Okay, let's conclude here. So thank you everybody for coming and for your interest in our masters. So remember that we will have the presentation and the slides online in our masters.fib.upc.edu website. And please feel free to contact us if you have any question. I already provide some emails, right? If you have more procedural or administrative problems, please info masters. If you want to contact directly the coordinators of the master for academic issues, please contact them directly as well, okay? Thank you, and hope to see you as FIP students in the future.